in terms of introspection and Dr. Ikram Koshi to bring you back to the present, which is what Gautam Buddha said, and try to see if effective time management can be done realistically. I have to start with disclaimers that first, I obviously do not have all the skills, and I'm only speaking like somebody who was sitting at a meal and appreciating a wonderful meal without knowing how the hell it is being cooked and brought together. So I'm just going to raise the issues and hope that we can have some discussion. I also want to say that in 2000, I was in the audience when Thomas Tarzan said that for hepatocellular carcinoma, we would have no surgery at all. We would have surgery only for the necrotic abscesses that happen due to biologic therapy for HCC. And 19 years later, I'm afraid surgeons are still in business. So endoscopists and surgeons, which at least this generation sitting here is going to be in business. I'm going to give you 10 points. Everyone talks about identifying goals. It's very important, short and long-term goals. It's always better to talk about goals as of ability and skills and perception, understanding, comprehension, rather than goals as in I'm going to buy a car in December. That's often a very counterproductive approach. Many of my colleagues who are sitting in this audience have discussed with me, and we've all loved to say that we just go with the flow. We never had an idea where our careers were taking us. That's not actually true. If you introspect, you had a plan, but you just wish to defend yourself by not telling other people about it, because if it failed, then you don't want to be seen as having been a failure. So the two are not really contradictory, but there have to be some goals. Without the goals, if you say, I'm going to drive along NH47 and get somewhere, you're not going to get anywhere. The old adage of do, defer, and delegate, and unless we can do that, our time is never going to be enough in the day. So I like to classify all the stuff that is in front of us as urgent and important. Urgent but not so important. Important but not urgent. And not urgent and not important. And depending on that, you have to do one of these three, or even dismiss. If it's not urgent or not important, you can defer, delegate, or dismiss. If it's urgent and important, you must do. If it's urgent, not urgent, but important, again, if it's important, better do it earlier than later. But if it's not important, delegate, and that's an important lesson that I've learned over the years. Dwight David Eisenhower, who was the Supreme Commander of the Allied Forces in Europe and who became the 34th President of the United States, talked about prioritization. And this is a story that most people have heard, but I love to tell it, and I like to tell the story about the old mayonnaise jar and the 2 pints of beer. The story of the professor who